We welcome you to Fresh Meadows, Queens, where this afternoon the Varsity Media Sports Network presents this CHSAA AA Showdown, featuring the visiting Ravens of St. Raymond's High School and the host Terriers of St. Francis Prep. The CHSAA AA Basketball Showdown is presented by Maspeth Federal Savings Bank. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Dylan Butler here with you from the floor here at St. Francis Prep for a Tuesday afternoon battle between the Ravens coming from the Bronx and the Terriers here in Fresh Meadows. You look beyond the records of both these teams, but we will tell you what they are, of course. But we expect this to be a very competitive basketball game. St. Raymond's coming into this game with a 4-10 record, 3-4 in the Catholic League. But they're coming off a win over Monsignor Scanlon on Sunday. You see the Catholic League standings. So despite the 4-10 record, they are 3-4 in the league, and you can see how jumbled up that is with Stepinac leading the way in the Archdiocese standings. But the Ravens coming off an 84-73 win at Monsignor Scanlon. In that game, Brandon Storrs had 27 points, 8 rebounds. Amir Moore, 20 points and 6 assists. Big game for the Ravens. They snapped a 7-game losing streak. The final game of that losing streak was a 91-84 loss to rival Cardinal Hayes. And in speaking with St. Ray's head coach, George Lopez, he's got a very young team, and his young team has just struggled down the stretch to close out games. So that, he hopes, is a good sign. They've played 14 games. They've got 10 regular season games remaining, including this afternoon. So they're hoping that this young squad, which at times has been a couple of sophomores, a freshman in the starting lineup, that they can turn the page now and turn the corner in their season and have a big stretch drive heading in to the postseason. St. Francis Prep, they are 7-3, 3-1 in the Catholic League. We'll pull up their Brooklyn Queens standings now, and you can see they're right at the very top, just behind Christ the King. Of course, the Royals beating them. That's their lone league loss. You see Malloy behind them, Zavarian, Lachlan, and Holy Cross. We expect it to be Christ the King and St. Francis Prep battling pretty much throughout the season. The Royals proving early on that they are the team to beat here this year. But, of course, Archbishop Stepinac, no slouch in the New York and the Archdiocese side. But St. Francis Prep 7-3, 3-1. They are also coming off a win, 81-42 non-league win over Epic South here on Friday night. In that game, Josh Pasquarelli had 18 points. Osmana Sacco, 15 points and 7 rebounds. Nolan Raymond, 8 points, 4 assists. And Troy Faison with 6 points and 7 assists. Just before that, they were down in Tennessee in Viking Hall in the Arby's Classic, where the Terriers went 1-2. And that was an opportunity, said their head coach, Jimmy Lynch, to kind of figure out where they are and what they need to work on. And they certainly learned a lot of that down in Tennessee that they hope now to utilize here in this second half of the season. For both of these teams really going forward, it's a lot of league games. It's Tuesday, Friday, Sunday. It's a very regimented schedule. A lot of those non-league and those classics and those tournaments that you play during the season. And as we just said, the Terriers were in Tennessee. The Ravens, before that, they were out in Vegas. They were in D.C. They've played a national schedule as well. All that is kind of behind both of these teams, and it's pretty much going forward league contests. So it'll be an interesting one here this afternoon and also the rest of the way. Let's take a look at the players to watch for both teams. First, for the visiting Ravens of St. Ray's. And a couple of good ones here for you as well. Brandon Storrs, the sophomore. He's got a bunch of offers. He's got George Mason, Manhattan, Syracuse, Xavier. Strong interest from Rutgers. You can see he's heated up his last 4 games, 22.2 points in those 4 games for the sophomore guard. Despite his young age, Brandon Storrs, whose cousin, by the way, is Rashawn Storrs, the interim head coach at Manhattan College. He is showing a lot of maturity beyond his years. And you see on the right side of your screen there, Amir Moore, the senior. What a great story he's been, a guy who's been victimized by COVID. didn't get a chance to play his sophomore season, his junior year, because he didn't play, felt more like a sophomore year. He's finally getting his legs under him. Unfortunately for him, it is his senior year. You can see there 12 points a game, but in his last 3 games, averaging 16 points per game for the Ravens. We flipped a switch to the Terriers of St. Francis Prep, and they've got a couple of good ones as well, leading their charge here this afternoon. We will go old and young, if you will. Josh Pasquarelli, the senior, a year ago, a second-team All-Catholic League player. We expect the likelihood that he'll move up on that chart this year, be a first-team All-League player. The Marist-bound senior does a little bit of everything, averaging 17.9 points a game. And Nigel Moore was the leader of the freshman team a year ago, averaging 20 points a game. He's had no problem transitioning to the varsity game, averaging 8.2 points per game for the Terriers. There was a question coming in of the health of Veer Anthony, which is one of the reasons we didn't have him listed as a player to watch, the point guard for the Terriers, but he is going to start. He's been battling an illness, but he is good to go here this afternoon. We'll take a look at the keys to this game for both of these teams and some similar keys that both coaches offered to us, which probably speaks to how close we expect this game to be. For the Ravens, they want to take away second chance opportunities, which means obviously crashing the glass, getting big rebounds. That is important. Also, keeping the freshman Sacco off the glass is big. They want to continue to be unselfish, try to score as much as they can in transition. They want to beat St. Francis Prep down the court. And their third key is when the going gets tough. They've kind of struggled down the stretch, as we mentioned earlier, so they're hoping to be even-keeled down the stretch and close out games as they did at Scanlon on Sunday. For St. Francis Prep, similar, right? You want to get to the glass. That is definitely an important thing, considering that they're undersized. They also want to defend the second efforts. Jimmy Lynch was pretty confident they can defend that first effort by the Ravens, but it's those second chance opportunities you want to cut down and also handle the Ravens' multiple looks. That's one thing that George Lopez will throw at you. He'll throw out different looks on offense, on defense as well, so he wants his team to be have a strong basketball IQ and handle that as well. We'll take a look at the starting lineups now for both teams. First, for the visitors from the Bronx, St. Raymond's High School for boys. And you can see there leading the charge, Ty Turnage. What a great story he is. He's got 12. We'll detail it as this game goes on. 12 Division I offers. The son of Wings head coach Billy Turnage. Ty Turnage leading the way, along with Brandon Stores and Amir Moore. Elijah Cherry at forward, and Kamari White as well at forward. Head coach, as we mentioned, for St. Raymond's is George Lopez in his 11th season out of Sacred Heart in Yonkers, a 1992 graduate. 153 career wins for George Lopez. Let's take a look at these Terriers starting lineup. Unchanged from previous games. Veer Anthony at the point. Nigel Moore, Josh Pasquarelli, your do-it-all scorer. Tyler Michelle, who has picked up his scoring as well, and of course Hao Chen as well in the middle. A guy, a bit of that glue guy for the Terriers, and their head coach Jimmy Lynch in his 6th season, a 1999 graduate of St. Francis Prep, the Catholic League player, a coach of the year a year ago. We'll take a quick break here as we'll get ready for the anthem and the opening tip. You're watching this Catholic League basketball showdown on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
St. Francis Prep prepares young men and women for the world of tomorrow by immersing them in the Franciscan tradition's 4 golden links: intellectual, social, spiritual, and physical. Facilities that are second to none. Teachers who instruct and inspire. Values of peace, love, and respect for the individual, community, and environment. High school is 4 years. St. Francis Prep is forever.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring of leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
Varsity Media covers every sport at every level from every angle. Game film, recruiting videos, highlight videos, SPORTSCAST,
Under, and what a look.
photography, live streaming. You name it, we offer it. Don't leave your video needs to amateurs. Trust the pros. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
We welcome you back to St. Francis Prep. You see the Terriers huddle there. Inside of that, of course, is Jimmy Lynch, their head coach, as we mentioned before, in his 6th season, and St. Francis Prep wearing their home white jerseys. The Ravens are kind of straight out of storage. They're wearing their black uniforms for the second game this year. George Lopez said his guys were kind of tired of losing with their other uniforms, so he had to go and find the jerseys, make sure he had all the right numbers. They've got a very good record in these black jerseys. We don't know the exact number, but we do know this year they are 1-0 in those jerseys. Opening tip goes to the Ravens. Our officials here this afternoon: Joseph Carmissimo, Richard Gallinazio, and Sean Holder. And there is Turnage. One of the cool matchups I think today will be Turnage and Veer Anthony. Forcing one in the paint, no good. That was Amir Moore. And Pasquarelli comes away with the ball. They love those one-on-one pure point guard matchups, and we'll have that here today with Turnage and Anthony. There's Pasquarelli spinning in the lane, kicks it out. Chen fakes the three, drives, back out to Michelle. Pops it, no good. And now the Ravens will look to push. They want to get out in transition as often as they can, but they turn the ball over there, and it will be St. Francis Prep ball. Pasquarelli, he'll have a lot of these responsibilities when he goes up to Poughkeepsie to play for John Dunn. He'll be that combo guard. There's Veer Anthony. Scoop layup, doesn't fall, strips the Ravens defender. That was Amir Moore, and Veer Anthony gets the first 2 points of this game. Anthony rebounds. And now the Terriers out and running. Oh, tremendous block. Nigel Moore blocked by Kamari White. And then Moore picks up the foul. His first and the team's first. You love that hustle there by Kamari White, the freshman, not giving up. Yeah, a double-double machine is what George Lopez calls the 6'3", 170 freshman. Stores hands off, and there's Turnage. Top of the key, Elijah Cherry hands off to Moore. Moore looks to dribble on Michelle, steps out, three-point attempt, off rim, no good. Chen the rebound. Ahead to Pasquarelli. Extra pass to Moore. Chen looks for cutters. Back out to Moore. Man-to-man defense by the Ravens. Chen looks to drive. Hands off. Tyler Michelle, hop step, and the layup is good. 4-0 early start here for the Ravens. Another foul is called, and it looks to be the second on Nigel Moore. So quickly, Jimmy Lynch is going to his bench as Troy Faison will come in the game to replace Nigel Moore. Turnage drives at Chen, off the glass and in. Ty Turnage, first bucket of the game. Faison looks to drive, kicks it out to Chen. Hands off to Anthony. Anthony drives. He kicks as well. Faison from 3 is good. Driving in the lane. The layup doesn't fall, but Amir Moore called for the offensive foul. That's his first and the team's first as well. George Lopez goes to his bench as Jacob Opare, the senior guard, number 22, checks into the game. Chen, backdoor cut, and Pasquarelli with the layup. That was pretty. The layup by Pasquarelli makes it a 7-2 lead, and a 30-second timeout is called. So we'll keep it here. 30-second timeout by the Ravens. 9-2 start early on for St. Francis Prep. And the Terriers, as we mentioned, it's kind of business as usual going forward. A very regimented schedule. Currently, listen, the day off, as Jimmy Lynch says, is Saturday. Every Saturday, because usually they play late on Friday. He says their toughest practices are Sunday at 10 a.m. and Monday, the day before, we have a game on a Tuesday. Then Wednesday's a practice, Thursday, a little walkthrough before Friday's game, and you kind of do it again now 6 to 8 times during the regular season. Turnage hands off to Stores, gets it right back. Turnage off his hip. That shot is short, and now the Terriers will look to push. Anthony in the lane, guarded closely by Turnage, kicks it out. Michelle for 3. Five early points, and the lead is now 10 in the early goings here for St. Francis Prep. Off a screen, pass goes down low. It's nearly knocked away. White recovers in the lane. The pump fake in the basket by Amir Moore. So happy you're able to join us here on a Tuesday afternoon in the Catholic League, as it's St. Francis Prep and St. Raymond's. Fouled was Amir Moore by Faison. It was Faison's first foul and the team's third. Foul on the floor. It was Monosako, the freshman, 32, in for Hao Chen. That's one of the things that Jimmy Lynch has said about his team, the freshmen. The young guys have really stepped up their game as they're getting more and more minutes. That shot off the mark by Stores, and Anthony corrals the rebounds. So guys like Sacco and Faison are earning their added minutes and doing well with it as well. Foul on Moore, his second, and the team's second. So Moore will go to the bench, replaced by Najee Bess, a freshman as well. And you mentioned the youth, right? You got Kamari White and Najee Bess, both freshmen on this St. Raymond's team. Michelle. There's Faison to the top, to the big little man, if you want to call him a little man, Sacco. Pasquarelli called for the offensive foul. So no points there for St. Francis Prep. Pasquarelli called for the charge. His first and the team's fourth. There is Turnage. His dad, Billy Turnage, former Holy Cross assistant. Done a great job at Wings Academy. Sacco the rebounds. And Ty, the son of a coach. An explosion to the hoop for Faison. 5 early points for Troy Faison as it's back to a 10-point lead. There is Turnage, and he's fouled on his way to the basket. Foul on Veer Anthony, his first, the team's 5th, which will send Ty Turnage to the line to shoot 2. First is good. George Lopez marvels at Ty Turnage's IQ, and again, he's that coach's son, so it's not a cliche here. You see some of those offers. Those are 4 of the 12 that he's got. Bryant, Fordham, St. Francis, New York, Seton Hall, Norfolk State, UMass, Hofstra, URI, Creighton, Mississippi State, Robert Morris, and UAB. Knocks down the second free throw as well. Michelle. Pasquarelli. Side rim, 3, no good. Here comes Storrs. Nice size on Storrs. Hands it off to Turnage. They were both freshmen on the varsity team a year ago. Storrs thinks about it. Says, why not? I'm going to take the 3. That rims out. It looks like it'll land. No, great hustle there by Opare. And the 3-pointer put in by Najee Best. So Opare's extra effort saving that ball kept the possession alive, and Best capitalized from beyond the arc. And that 10-point lead is whittled down. Here's Pasquarelli in the lane. Doubled, spins, turns, and finds the basket. A terrific scorer is Josh Pasquarelli. 2 more for him. A guy who, again, averages as Turnage dials it up from 3-point range. Pasquarelli averaging just shy of 18 points a game. Oh, great backdoor cut. Faison finds Michelle. 7 points in his first quarter for Tyler Michelle. We're inside the final minute of the first quarter, and St. Francis Prep leads 18-12. Turnage in front of the St. Francis Prep bench. Takes pride in being that New York City point guard. 3-point attempt rims around, no good. Sacco gets the rebound. Gets it to Michelle. He's got the hot hand right now for St. Francis Prep. Checks with Jimmy Lynch. Wants to see what the play is. Maybe got away with a little bit of a push-off, but Michelle knocks down the short jumper. A really good first quarter for Tyler Michelle. There's Turnage now looking for some room. Drives at Sacco, no good. The rebound, then putback is there for Jyrese Cole. Anthony drives, finger roll, no good, but there will be an offensive foul on Veer Anthony. It'll be his 2nd and the team's 6th. So Chen will come in for Pasquarelli, and Nolan Raymond will come in for Veer Anthony. 0.9 seconds left. Really not much time here. Turnage won't even throw the ball up as the first quarter comes to an end. So St. Francis Prep, a good first quarter for them. They jumped out. They led by as many as 10, but the Ravens have cut that deficit to just 6 here at the end of 1. You're watching this Catholic League Showdown presented by Maspeth Federal Savings Bank on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring of leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
Welcome back to St. Francis Prep here in Fresh Meadows, Queens. Second quarter about to begin. Dylan Butler here with you on the Varsity Media Sports Network. The CHSAA AA Showdown presented by Maspeth Federal Savings Bank. Terriers ball coming out. It's Veer Anthony guarded by Turnage. Sacco bounce pass inside. Pasquarelli turns off glass and in. He just finds so many ways to score. Does Josh Pasquarelli. Used to be known as a three-point shooter, and he's really added so much to his game, scoring in 3 different levels. Some wild action there as Best tried to put up a shot. Michelle was called for the foul. It's his first, but the team's 7th, so Best will go to the line to shoot 1 and 1. George Lopez believes Najee Best, the freshman who's averaging about 2.5 points a game, will eventually become Elijah Moore. And of course, fans of Cardinal Hayes and even just New York City basketball knows what that means. Elijah Moore, one of the best shooters around. And he really loves the way that Najee Best shoots the ball. He does miss that free throw, though, and a foul off the ball as Storrs called for a push on Faison.
St. Raymond's foul on number 1. Brandon Storrs Jr. is first, team's 3rd.
But yeah, Najee Best, that's what's earned him a spot on the varsity. His ability to shoot, as George Lopez says, the cover off the ball. Inside for Anthony. Up and under. Nice move inside for Veer Anthony, and there is that 10-point lead again for the Terriers. That's matched their largest lead. It's been 10 3 times here this afternoon. Storrs to Turnage. Turnage wants some movement there, and he sends Opare the other way. Stolen down low. Look at Sacco running the court. And Turnage was called for the foul. It's his first and the team's 4th, and that's probably beneficial there for Sacco because it did look there like he was about to be out of control. Sacco will go to the bench, replaced by Chen. Anthony inbounds inside to Chen, and he is fouled on the attempt, so he'll go to the line to shoot 2.
St. Raymond's foul on number 1, Brandon Storrs Jr. is 2nd, team's 5th.
Foul called on Storrs, first, team's 5th. And this will send Hao Chen. I think that was the wrong number for the foul, and it's being corrected. Sean Holder making the correction at the table. And it is on Jerez Cole, his first. That is who we thought it was. We were not going to necessarily question the call there as Chen knocks down his first free throw. Kamari White checks back in for the Ravens, replacing Opare. Second free throw, no good. Ball stolen though. Chen, floater in the lane is good. And if you are the Ravens, that kills you, right? Because you got the defensive rebound after the missed free throw, and instead of it being 1 point that you give up, it becomes 3 off the putback. That's that second chance opportunity that George Lopez was talking about. There is Best. 27-14 the lead for St. Francis Prep. Floater, baseline, Kamari White. 27-16 the lead now for St. Francis Prep. Chen turns to the foul line, back iron no good. Turnage comes away with the rebound. Eyes up, looking, surveying, going to the basket and getting 2. Ty Turnage. 9 for Turnage. And the Terriers will call a timeout. You'll love it by Ty Turnage. They're just finding his way, slicing through, and getting the basket. We take a look as we have a timeout at St. Ray's and their upcoming games. We mentioned, listen, this is a team that went down to D.C. They played in the Gonzaga Classic. They went and played in the Tarkanian Classic out in Vegas. And now you stay here in the Five Boroughs. You've at Lockland. They're going to be road warriors next few weeks. There's no doubt about that. Out of the friendly confines of the Ravens' nest, they go to Brooklyn, and they'll take on Bishop Loughlin. Then you go out to Staten Island, never easy, to take on St. Peter's, Stepinac, of course, as well, and then Mount St. Michael to close out that 4-game stretch for St. Ray's, a team that is no strangers, of course, to winning the biggest trophy in the Catholic League. Last time they won the championship back in 2012. That year they beat Holy Cross in the championship game, 66-58. You see it right there. You see a lot of Cardinal Hayes, you see a lot of Christ the King, and you see that 2012 win there by the Ravens. Kerwin Okoro, 21 points, 7 rebounds, 7 blocks in that game. Daniel Dingle, who went on and played at Temple, 11 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. Shane Rector, 16 points, including 4 free throws in the final 58 seconds to ice that win. That was the last AA championship as White called for the foul. His first, team 6th. Also the 3rd there for then head coach Oliver Antigua. George Lopez at the time was his top assistant, also the freshman coach. When Oliver Antigua left to become an assistant coach at Manhattan College, George Lopez was given the keys and handed the reins, and he's had it ever since for 11 years. Sacco steps out and buries the 3. How about that for the big man? Turnage, into the trees, finds a way. Up and down we go. Michelle for 3, rims out. Faison skies for the rebound, kicks it out to Michelle. Anthony for 3, back rim no good. Sacco up there, second chance opportunity, no good. Stores ahead to Moore. Back up top to Stores, to Turnage. Turnage and Stores, they play catch. Stores just inside that 3-point arc, knocks down the deep jumper. First 2 points of the game for Brandon Stores. Faison, Pasquarelli, that's his sweet spot from beyond the arc. That 3, though, rims out. Stores, end-to-end for 2. So back-to-back buckets for Stores. The Ravens pick it up, 3/4 court press. Sacco missed the gimme. Michelle, though, tracks that ball down. Vier Anthony showing the strength, and 1. Anthony drives on Stores. It is Stores' first foul. And Anthony will look to complete the 3-point play. The sophomore from Whitestone offers already from Manhattan and Robert Morris. George Lopez also marveling when he talked about St. Francis Prep. Just one of the things he mentioned was how good Vier Anthony is. He doesn't get rattled. He doesn't really turn the ball over. He's just able to take charge and run the offense with aplomb. 33-24 the lead for St. Francis Prep. Midway point here of the second quarter. Sacco, the block. Sacco, end to end. He's hammered on his way up. So the freshman will go to the line after being fouled by Elijah Cherry. Cherry's second foul. And Sacco to the line to shoot 2. A guy who's got tremendous potential, 6'7" freshman, buries that first free throw. Potential's always a dangerous word, right? You don't like to talk about it as much, and the younger levels and the hype maybe that you get from AAU and middle school basketball. Sacco's had all of that. And he does, though, have that opportunity, perhaps that chance, as Turnage hands off and White is fouled on his way up. But Sacco perhaps has that chance to be very, very special. Sacco is called for the foul, his first and team's 8th. So White will go to the line to shoot 2. But Sacco, you talk about next level, and listen, when you think of some of the best to play at St. Francis Prep, a lot of those guys, Kevin Fitzgerald's and guys of that ilk, they were mid-level Division I players. And Sacco, again, potential, using that word, he could be that high major guy. There he is, Sacco in the paint, goes to his left hands, and he is fouled inside. Foul is on Turnage, his 2nd and the 9th. So the big man to the line to shoot 2. First free throw rims out. Also, by the way, in that, as the second free throw misses out, not to give Kevin Fitzgerald all the love as greats in St. Francis Prep history, Drew Samuels as well. He played his basketball at Marist. Step back, and a foul was called there as Amir Moore fouled in the act of shooting.
Amir Moore at the line, 2 shots.
So 2 shots for Amir Moore. George Lopez says, as Moore knocks down the first free throw, he was a guy who, there was about 100 spectators outside the gym at St. Raymond's for the freshman city championship game a couple years back between St. Ray's and Cardinal Hayes. And Amir Moore was one of those guys, tried to sneak his way into the gym. George Lopez worked security at that back door of the gym by the parking lot, stopped him, said, "You got to watch from outside." Amir Moore said, "Listen, I'm going to go to St. Ray's." Like, "All right, come on in. You can watch inside." So that's the way to get in to the city championship game, is commit yourself to being a St. Raymond's student athlete. Veer Anthony checks back in the game in this final 2:20, as does Hao Chen. He'll come in for Osman Sacco. Pasquarelli, guarded by Storrs. There's Michelle for 3. Front rim no good. Pasquarelli tracks down the rebound. Tough jumper. Not much Storrs could do there to try to stop him. And Pasquarelli has 8. 11-point lead for the Terriers. Turnage, short. Storrs inside, and 1. Foul on Chen. There you see the 3-pointer by Turnage short. Look at Storrs. Watch the up fake. That's where you get the bodies up. Foul against Chen, and Storrs completes the 3-point play. 7 points in the first half. Well, actually, all in the second quarter for Brandon Storrs. Anthony out to Pasquarelli for 3. And Pasquarelli buries his first 3 of this game. 11-point lead for St. Francis Prep. Storrs puts it on the court. Guarded closely by Pasquarelli. These guys are defending each other really tight, and yet both are fighting their way to get the basket. Storrs with 9 in this second quarter. Timeout called by the Ravens. We showed you St. Ray's upcoming schedule. We'll take a look at St. Francis Prep's upcoming schedule. Friday night home game against Zavarian. Stepinac comes to Fresh Meadows next Tuesday. That's a game that we'll have for you here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. And then the Battle of the Boulevard. They'll head about 2 miles. They'll cross Northern Boulevard. They'll stay on Francis Lewis Boulevard and go to Holy Cross. Always fun when the rivals battle. And then St. Peter's will come here to this beautiful gym at St. Francis Prep on the 22nd of January. Really looking forward to that game next weekend, or next Tuesday, a week from today. A 4:15 tip-off as Stepinac comes in. And again, you can argue that Christ the King is the team to beat right now, but they've yet to play Stepinac. That game will be on the ESPN series of networks. Not sure if that's on the U or on the Ocho, but they'll battle in Middle Village, and no doubt the favorite will emerge then. Sacco inside, a terrific pass there by Anthony. Final minute, second quarter. Handoff, 3, good. Nice looking jumper by Opare, the senior. He led the Varsity B team a year ago to the championship game where they lost to Iona Prep. Was the catalyst of that team. Sacco steps out, and he'll be called for the travel. There'll be a 1-second differential between shot and game clock here, as the Ravens looking to maybe slice into their deficit here. Moore, guarded by Moore. No relation that we know of, certainly. Turnage for 3. Front rim, no good. And there's Faison. St. Francis Prep looks to run. Extra pass. Sacco steps out. His second triple of this first half. Big bucket there. Turnage looking, checking the scoreboard for the time. Stepping out. 3-point shot. A buzzer beater for Amir Moore. As the first half comes to a close, it is 44-36, the lead for St. Francis Prep. We'll take a break here from St. Francis. Thought we might have had Jimmy Lynch joining us here. I think he missed the memo, so we'll perhaps endeavor to get him before the start of the second half. Your score here at halftime, it is St. Francis Prep 44 and the Ravens of St. Raymond's 36. You're watching the CHSAA AA Basketball Showdown on the Varsity Media Sports Network, presented by Maspeth Federal Savings.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring of leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
St. Francis Prep prepares young men and women for the world of tomorrow by immersing them in the Franciscan tradition's 4 golden links: intellectual, social, spiritual, and physical. Facilities that are second to none. Teachers who instruct and inspire. values of peace, love, and respect for the individual, community, and environment. High school is 4 years. St. Francis Prep is forever.
Hi, I'm Gene Sterator, CBS Rules Analyst and longtime sports official. For the adults watching this video, you grew up in a world where officials, umpires, and referees for youth sports took their place regularly and reliably ahead of game time. Today, unfortunately, it's getting harder and harder to fill those jobs. Videos showing abusive treatment of officials multiply on social media. And there have been consequences for the dreadful behavior of players, fans, and coaches. Massive shortages of officials now lead to games being canceled, and the positive effects of athletic competition are at critical risk for this generation and those to come. I'm hoping we all can begin to see youth competition through a different lens. Today, mistreatment of officials has become normalized, and we are facing an abnormal future where no officials to hire means no games on the schedule.
Any call, any decision, any human effect on wins and losses has become subject to not just withering criticism, but physical threats. There's a vicious cycle at work. Fans chase away officials, and there is a smaller pool to draw from, which makes it harder to get quality, well-trained people in position. The entire game suffers.
Did you know, according to the National Federation of High Schools, 80% of new officials quit the game after just 2 seasons because of abusive behavior from the stands and sidelines? This sort of verbal abuse and threatening behavior takes a toll on all officials and makes them leave the game altogether.
Did you know, from 2018 to 2022, an estimated 50,000 high school referees, roughly 20%, have quit. Half of the remaining referee population is at least 50 years old, but young officials are rarely staying more than 3 years in the job.
If the number of officials working contests in all sports doesn't begin to increase, there won't be enough officials to work the games. That means schedules will get cut, teams or even sports might get canceled. In many states, this is already happening.
Remember that officials are invested in what they do. Many officials have regular, full-time jobs, and they're sacrificing time away from their families. Try to demonstrate empathy, put yourself in their position. Think how you would feel about getting yelled at throughout your workday.
Yelling and arguing with officials sends the wrong message to young players. According to Play by the Rules sports advocacy, it teaches them that it's not okay to make a mistake. They can blame others for their actions. They can disrespect authority figures, and it's okay to be rude and selfish.
You know, officials enforce rules, keep competitions fair, and make player safety a priority, allowing youth sports to be a valuable arena for growth. If we can all just work together and be more empathetic to not just the officials, but everyone else in youth and high school sports, we can then preserve what many of us have embraced about athletics. And you and I know the benefits of sports, right? Let's spread that gratitude and be proud of what we can build and not blind to how it's being torn down. Calling officials cheaters or corrupt, it's not a game.
Insulting referees, it's not a game.
Threatening officials, it's not a game.
Berating young umpires, learning the ropes, it's not a game.
Violent language in the stands, it's not a game.
Verbal abuse from the sideline, it's not a game.
Screaming at a referee in the parking lot, it's not a game.
So what happens now? Your response in the heat of the moment is the only thing you totally control, and we have an experiment for you to try. Simply stated, Just cheer for your child or the team you're there to support. Move that desire to lash out to a different place and encourage without rage. Your child's sporting memory should be about how you helped inspire and not about how you caused embarrassment.
If you're an event organizer looking for a media company to cover live streaming, action photography, and game video for your event, look no further. Varsity Media travels throughout the Northeast covering weekend tournaments, showcases, and championships. Contact us today to learn about our services and packages at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring of leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
For the best action shots and the best angles, look no further than Varsity Media. Our experienced photographers capture your athletes' best moments right from field level. Plus, we offer great keepsakes like bobbleheads, posters, plaques, and prints. For more information about Varsity Media's photography services, contact us at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
Varsity Media covers every sport at every level from every angle. Game film, recruiting videos, highlight videos, SPORTSCAST.
Under, and what a look.
Photography, live streaming. You name it, we offer it. Don't leave your video needs to amateurs. Trust the pros. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
Welcome back to St. Francis Prep halftime here, and the Terriers with a 44-36 lead. I knew we'd track them down at some point.
Screwed your whole operation.
We're joined by the St. Francis Prep head coach, Jimmy Lynch. And Jimmy, thoughts on the first half?
We're playing good offensively. We're getting up and down the floor. We're taking the right shot. We're sharing the ball really well. We're getting to the foul line. We're doing a lot of really good things, and we have 44 points on the board, which for us is unheard of. But we gave up 36, which is also unheard of, and we're just keeping them in the game. They're a 4-0, 6-0 run from just taking us over here.
To that point, what do you want to see here? What were some of the words for your team here in the second?
I want to see us stop them in transition a little bit. I think every time they get a stop on us, they're going a little bit and going and getting to the basket. We got to clean up the backboards too. A couple of times we didn't get the rebound. They got a second effort. Gave them a basket, easy basket.
Jimmy Lynch, thanks so much.
Sorry about it before.
Good. That's all good. Good luck in the second half. Let's take a look at those leading scorers now. As Jimmy Lynch said, his team putting up 44 points. That's a big number for them. And leading the way for the Terriers, Josh Pasquarelli, as we expected, 11 points. Ty Turnage, 11 as well, to lead the Ravens. And Osmana Sacco with 9 points. Two other players, Brandon Storrs for St. Ray's, as well as Tyler Michelle. They have 9 points apiece as well. Sacco with a pair of threes as well in that second quarter, showing some of that versatility. Turnaround jumper by Storrs, no good. Rebound goes to Cherry. Put back attempt, no good. Storrs, though, will clean it up off the glass. He is now in double-digit scoring with 11. That was one of the keys that Jimmy Lynch talked about, is his team's ability to stop that second chance opportunity. Pasquarelli from three. His second triple of the game, 14 on the game for the Marist-bound senior. Get a stop. That's what Jimmy Lynch is looking for from his team. St. Ray's, as we've seen, Turnage finds a lane, no good, but Kamari White was fouled on his way up. Foul on Chen, his second. And White will go to the line to shoot 2, but St. Ray's puts up a lot of points. We saw even in that loss, right? They put up 84 in that win against Scanlon, and they put up 84, same number, in a loss to Cardinal Hayes, that 91-84 home loss where they had a lead. They could have won that game, a big rivalry game for them, but they couldn't close it out. Both free throws missed by Kamari White. Michelle turns, shot, I think it took a deflection on the way in. Sacco blocked inside, back out. Veer Anthony for 3, rims around, no good. And Storrs tracks down the rebound, blocked by Pasquarelli. Pasquarelli, 1-on-2. The layup is good by Pasquarelli. Turnage, hands off. Losing it was White. And there comes Veer Anthony. Little showtime, didn't quite do what it was supposed to, but Michelle still finds his way to put it off the glass and in. 11 now for Michelle as St. Ray's calls a timeout, a 30-second timeout for the Ravens. And this is not the only game today on the Varsity Media Sports Network, or tonight, I should say. We transition from the hardwood to the hard ice as we will be out at Clark Gillies Arena. The Ranger fan in me doesn't quite like saying the name Clark Gillies, but that's all right. Terrific arena out there in Dix Hills as it is senior night, a big battle in the Catholic High School Hockey League as Xavier and St. Anthony's will lock horns. The opening face-off, 7:30 tonight, right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Turnage off timeout by the Ravens. There's Moore. Draws a double team, kicks out. Cherries, 3, no good. Nigel Moore, the rebounds. And he will be called for the traveling violation. Be going a little bit too fast as there's Turnage. You talk about the Mount Rushmore maybe of great point guards at St. Ray's. Of course, you've got Karem Reed and Truck Bryant. 2 of them, Terrence Rencher, Eddie Rivera. Ty Turnage knows the history and wants to put his name among those greats. That 3 is off the mark. Opare unable to keep that rebound in bounds, and it will be St. Francis Prep ball. And Veer Anthony, you would argue, looking to do the same here, and that's one of the fun things. Both of those guys, by the way, are sophomores. We're going to see them battle going forward. A 3 by Veer Anthony, 10 points on the game for Anthony. Amir Moore drives on Michelle, crosses his court, good passing. Elijah Cherry, 3, no good. Turnage tracks it down off of Pasquarelli's hands, inside to the big man. That's Colin Pang. Pang, second effort. Count it. Sacco called for his 3rd and the team's 2nd, and Pang to the line to try to complete the 3-point play. A freshman a year ago has come into his own. He's been injured in the offseason, but you love the size, right? 6'7", 220 from Colin Pang, and he completes the 3-point play. He's a guy averaging about a little over a point a game, but George Lopez thinks if he continues on his trajectory, he can really surprise some teams in these final 10 games of the regular season and the postseason as well. Michelle for 3. Side rim, no good. And the ball clanged off the rim and hit the stanchion overhead, which is out of bounds. Faison back in the game, replacing Moore. 54-41, the lead for St. Francis Prep. Tuesday afternoon, CHSAA AA showdown. Stores, hands off, Cherry drives. Ooh, he tried to go hard at Sacco, and Pang cleans it up inside. Pang with 5 quick points. There's Faison into Pang, and Pang sends him to the floor. So Pang's first foul. It will send Faison to the line to shoot 2. Faison started. He walked in the building as a freshman in September and was playing lower level football. And by the end of the season, he was on the varsity football team. And he's on the varsity basketball team. And again, just 14 years old. Remarkable to think about it, but just speaks to the tremendous athleticism that Troy Faison has. He goes 1 of 2 from the line, and the lead for St. Francis Prep is 12. Midway point here of the third quarter. Stores. Guarded by Pasquarelli, tries to find Turnage. Turnage goes at Sacco, rims around, no good. Pang! Man, he has been good in this third quarter. 7 points for Colin Pang in this third quarter. And it's now a 10-point lead. Michelle looks to drive baseline. And Sacco can't hold on to it. Will go the other way. Turnage. Hands off to Stores. Back to Ty. Drives on Anthony. Gets the friendly roll. 13 now for Turnage. And the lead is single digits. 8 points now. Sacco from the foul line. Good defending by Pang. The big fellas collide. Michelle wide open though. And a timeout called by Jimmy Lynch. There'll be a 30-second timeout. 13 points now for Tyler Michelle, and the lead is back to 10. When we spoke to St. Francis Prep head coach Jimmy Lynch, there you see him talking about what he's seen after 10 games and the positives. He said, listen, we've played super hard. We've not given up on that. We've been getting contributions from our younger guys, the 2 freshmen we mentioned before, who started the year playing sparing minutes. They're getting more and more playing time, rewarding their head coach for that playing time. And as the older guys, if you want to call them older guys, but the sophomores, the juniors, as the veteran guys start to put it together and produce, he thinks that his team could be pretty dangerous. Now, the flip side of that is what he didn't like, what he saw down in Tennessee at the Arby's Classic, where in that loss to Knox Webb, they missed 15 free throws, they missed a bunch of open layups, they turned the ball over. And as we heard from him coming out for the start of the second half, they've not defended very well in this first half, so there's always room for improvement. Faison to Sacco. Dribbles on Pang, and Pang strips him. However, that outlet pass didn't find a teammate, so St. Francis Prep takes the ball back over. It's Pasquarelli, guarded closely by Stores. Sacco, his third 3, no good, and Pang gets the rebounds. Cherry, 4-3, back rim no good. Long rebound, tracked down. jumper there rimmed around by Amir Moore, and a foul was called underneath. It's on Michelle. His second, team's third. Chen will replace Sacco, and Cherry will leave for the Ravens. Looks like it's Kamari White in for him. Deep three for Turnage. Front rim no good. Rebound tracked down by Moore. Loose ball picked off, and here comes Michelle in transition. Michelle stripped by Turnage. Michelle hits the back wall. Thankfully for him, there is cushioning there, and good to see him get right back up as well. Terriers ball underneath. Veer Anthony looks for options. Up top finds Chen. Chen to Pasquarelli, guarded there by Moore. Anthony drives on Pang, and Pang will be called for the foul. It's Colin Pang's second and the team's second, which will send Veer Anthony to the line. The sophomore was questionable coming in. He's not really practiced the last couple of days. He's been battling an illness. And Jimmy Lynch said if it was not going to be him, Faison would have gotten the start. You see those offers there. Robert Morris, Manhattan College. We expect more in the future for Veer Anthony. He goes 1 of 2 from the line. 11-point lead for St. Francis Prep. And Amir Moore losing it on the baseline. Good defense there by the Terriers.
Number 2, Najee Best, for St. Raymond, replacing Amir Moore.
Najee Best back in the game. He replaces Amir Moore. Chen. Bounce pass inside, a terrific pass inside, and Pasquarelli finishes at the hoop. That's a little bit of what Chen brings you, man. His basketball IQ and his crispness with everything he does is terrific. Pang tracks down his own rebounds, and a foul was called on Moore. It's his third and the team's fourth. Inside the final minute here of the third quarter. Anthony steals it ahead of the field. Turnage is trying to get out of the way. Ball kind of bounced around and it goes out. And it will be St. Raymond's ball. Inside the final minute, third quarter. Turnage hands off. It's Bess as they run the weave a little bit. Turnage stops. Little scoop layup attempt. No good. Battle for the loose ball. It's loose. And finding it and scoring it was Stores. 22 seconds left. Third quarter. An 11-point lead for St. Francis Prep. Shot clock off, so the Terriers will hold for the last of this third quarter. Pasquarelli with 5. Pasquarelli, jumper, no good. It goes off the hands, though, of Pang, so a one more chance with 1.3 second left in this third quarter for St. Francis Prep. Let's see what they run. Anthony, the inbound. Pasquarelli, quick catch and shot. And that rimmed out. No good. 11-point lead for St. Francis Prep. 3 quarters in the books here from Fresh Meadows, Queens. You're watching the CHSA Basketball Showdown presented by Massillon Federal Savings on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring of leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
We welcome you back to St. Francis Prep here in Fresh Meadows, Queens. Dylan Butler here with you on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Fourth quarter about to begin. An 11-point lead for St. Francis Prep, who are looking to improve to 8-3 on the year and 4-1 in the Catholic League. Second only in the Brooklyn Queens division to Christ the King, a team that we saw Sunday beat Zavarian in Middle Village. We'll look again at the standings in Brooklyn Queens, and it is tight at the top and really not a lot of separation throughout. As you see there, Christ the King, a perfect 6-0 in league play, 8-2 overall. St. Francis Prep just behind them. There's a little bit of a drop there between the top two teams. Malloy at 2-2, Zavarian at 2-4, Lachlan, a very dangerous team there in the fifth spot at 2-4, and Holy Cross coming up in sixth at 1-6. Josh Pasquarelli on the ball. He leads all scorers right now with 18. Sets the screen, works off it. Top of the key, 3. Rims out, no good. Faison the rebound, scoops it out to Anthony. To Chen. He'll dial it up from long distance. And Chen buries the 3. 6 points for Hao Chen. Turnage. And at some point for the Ravens, they've got to be concerned about getting stops as well. 3 is good. Amir Moore. 8 points for Moore. Because certainly at this point in the game, you can't exchange baskets, especially with a team that's got an 11-point lead. Faison looks for opportunities. Drives, scoop layup is good. Faison. 7, turnage, no good. And now the Terriers look to run. Faison, Pasquarelli's got his left hand up. Wants the ball. Anthony, and a foul off the ball by Amir Moore. It'll be his third. Michelle back in the game for Faison. Good performance by the freshman Faison. It is Veer Anthony. Moore, scoop, no good. Couldn't get it to fall. Here comes Storrs the other way. And again, Veer Anthony. You've always got to have your head on a swivel when Veer Anthony's around. Pasquarelli. 20 points for Josh Pasquarelli. And that's that 4-point swing that starts with the defense from Veer Anthony. He never gives up on any play. 67-52 the lead for St. Francis Prep. And a foul called on Veer Anthony. An offensive foul, his third of the game. Anthony looks perplexed at the call. Jimmy Lynch looks for some clarification from Sean Holder. Not sure if he got the answer he was looking for, as Turnage, his pass intercepted by Pasquarelli. In transition, Josh Pasquarelli The fans get excited. Of course, the basket will not count, but the foul is called on Turnage. It is his third and the team's fourth. Substitution for St. Ray's back in the game. Stanley Cruz, a fierce warrior. In fact, when he's not on the court, he is in the ring. He's a boxer. Hao Chen. How did he get that basket? High off the glass and in for Chen. And a timeout called by the Ravens. A full. Watch this one as well. Pasquarelli, Chen posting up. Wow, that was high. You see a lot of spin on that as well for Chen, the sophomore from Oakland Gardens. He's a guy, man. He has waited his turn, Hao Chen. You look back to last year's team, a team for St. Francis Prep that went 22-4, losing to Cardinal Hayes in the intersectional semifinals. And Hao Chen had to wait behind Jaden Daughtry, a Division I player currently at Marist. And Chen has made the most of his opportunity here now in the starting lineup for the Terriers. We've got more basketball coming up for you on the Varsity Media Sports Network, as it's Monsignor Scanlon heading to Cardinal Hayes. We haven't been to Cardinal Hayes, I feel like, in the longest. I want to say it was just before Christmas, the Iona Prep game, so always good to be back on the Grand Concourse, and we'll have that game for you. There you see it, January 13th, coming up right around the corner. An Archdiocese showdown. Jimmy Lynch there, St. Francis Prep head coach, taking over for the legendary, the late, great Tim Leary. Very much a disciple of Tim Leary, at doing so much too that he wears the, sometimes he'll go the sweater vest, but he's going the full sweater, just like Leary used to as well. Stores is harassed and fouled by Pasquarelli. Yeah, that was not on Sacco. They announced it to be Sacco, definitely on Pasquarelli. And it doesn't look like that one will be changed. So a little bit confusing there, as there's a good look at Stores. He knocks down both free throws. We showed you some of those offers there for Stores. Anthony for three, side rim no good. Pasquarelli tracks down the rebound and a fresh possession, and Lynch wants them to run some stuff here. Michelle goes at White, and White rejects him off the backboard. Turnage drives, and he is fouled on his way up. And here's going to be the interesting thing, right? This is going to be on Sacco. Oh, Faison, excuse me. It's on Faison, because they never corrected the foul on Sacco before. So he should only have three. He does have four, though, in the book, as the first free throw by Turnage is good. So they'll give that foul to Faison. Second free throw rims in for Turnage. 15 points on the game for him. Ty Turnage, but I remember him. I was telling our director, Chris Sweeney, before the start of this game, remember seeing Ty Turnage as, like, I want to say he was 5, just a young buck with a basketball almost bigger than his body on the sideline, and always with Billy Turnage up at wings, and he'd be that guy at halftime at wings, just always on the court, getting his shots in, and has just grown up in this sport and obviously thriving right now. Terrific pass down low. Second chance opportunity And Faison finishes at the rim. Double digits now for Faison. 10 points for him, and the Terriers extend their lead to 71-56 here midway point of the fourth quarter. Three-point shot rims out. Here comes Pasquarelli in transition ahead to Michelle. To Anthony, and again, looks like they'll want to slow things down. Pasquarelli turns. Sacco guarded closely by Cruz. Cruz, a boxer. Anthony. 13 points for Veer Anthony. Kamari White finishes. He's got 4. And ahead of the field is Tyler Michelle. Goaltending called on Stores. But you can see Stores and the Ravens are just like, where was the defense there? Michelle was one of, I want to say, 2 or 3 Terriers ahead of the field. Michelle now with 15. And you can see what St. Francis Prep is doing now, really extending out this game. Now, the Ravens will not quit. There's no doubt about that. They've not quit on the season. They do not quit on a game. It's that resiliency that George Lopez likes from a young team. Michelle off the rejection. Here comes Veer Anthony, and again, clock management will be big for the Terriers down the stretch. 75-58 lead here, 2:40 remaining in the fourth. Anthony kicks it out. Three-pointer. Michelle rims out, no good. Rebound goes to Stores. Ahead of the field, Kamari White off his hip. The layup is good. That was harder than it looked for Kamari White. He had the ball in his hip, had to bring it back off of there. Faison back out to Anthony. 15-point lead for St. Francis Prep as we approach the 2-minute mark left in the fourth quarter. There's Pasquarelli. High scorer in this game right now with 20 points. Here comes the double to the ball. Veer Anthony inside. Scoop layup, no good. The door opens a little bit now for the Ravens. Here is Turnage. Hands off. Cruz. Floater. Offensive foul called. Pasquarelli drawing it. His first and the team's sixth. So out of necessity, now the Ravens will pick up full court. St. Francis Prep gets over easy. And there is Anthony, guarded closely by Turnage. Wants to create the separation to Pasquarelli. Michelle. And a timeout called by St. Francis Prep as the Terriers look to talk things over here in the final 1:22 of this game. A 15-point lead for St. Francis Prep. I want to remind folks that's how you subscribe to us on youtube.com/varsity media. You can follow us all on our social media platforms. We'll have announcements of some of our upcoming broadcasts as well in the days and weeks to come. Before you know it, remarkably, we will be in postseason mode, and we will have a lot of Catholic High School Basketball League playoff action from the Brooklyn Queens championship game, which could be round 3 between Christ the King and St. Francis Prep. We'll have all 3 rounds if that is the case. We were at round 1 in Middle Village, which was the Terriers' lone league loss of the year. Sacco with the ball. That was a 54-43 win for Christ the King. Ravens in foul mode. Foul on Stores, and it will send Sacco to the line for the 1-and-1. Free throw rims around, no good. Cruz the rebound, ahead to Turnage. 1:12 left, fourth quarter. Turnage drives at Sacco and Faison, and he is fouled.
There is on 23 short base on this side, team safe.
It is on Faison.
To the line, 2 shots.
And Turnage misses the first.
Number 13, Jerron Brookfield, and number 25, Isaiah Gonzalez at St. Raymond.
George Lopez says Turnage, and again, it's probably a big reason because of his relationship and what he's been able to get from his dad in terms of the sport of basketball. Just has a different understanding of the game than most other players. Final minute, fourth quarter. And the Terriers looking to kind of go 4 corners here as Veer Anthony is fouled by Turnage. Turnage's fourth foul, and Anthony will shoot the single bonus. He knocks it down, and free throw shooting, as we mentioned before, was a concern or an issue for the Terriers down in Tennessee. 1 point loss to Knox Webb. They missed 15 free throws in that game. Second free throw is good by Anthony. So Pasquarelli to the bench, looks like for the last time, as checking in for him, the junior from Flushing, Peter Duvrays. That's Isaiah Gonzalez, who was on the ball there, 25 a moment ago. Scoop layup attempt, no good. Put back is good. I've been impressed, man, by Colin Fang. 9 points, all in the second half. 77-63 the lead. Shot clock is off. So St. Francis Prep doesn't even have to shoot, and if the Ravens don't look to foul, they are looking to play hard defense, though, as Anthony just backs out. So it looks like the Terriers here will get a big home victory over a Ravens team that's been impressive. 77-63 is the final score. We'll take a quick break. We'll get our player of the game when we return here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
St. Francis Prep prepares young men and women for the world of tomorrow by immersing them in the Franciscan tradition's 4 golden links: intellectual, social, spiritual, and physical. Facilities that are second to none. Teachers who instruct and inspire. Values of peace, love, and respect for the individual, community, and environment. High school is 4 years. St. Francis Prep is forever.
Welcome back to St. Francis Prep. The Terriers a 77-63 win. And we're joined by the player of the game, Josh Pasquarelli, the Marist-bound senior. 20 points on the game. Josh, congratulations on the win. Listen, you knew that St. Raymond's were playing better. They were coming off a win, so they were going to have some confidence. Coach said he loved the offense in the first half, didn't quite love the team defense. It seems like that was something that was an effort for you guys in the second half.
Yeah, most definitely was. It was just an emphasis on team defense. We needed to be in help. We needed to rebound. That was our problem the first half, really, because we saw the middle was wide open on offense. So the offense came easy, like you said, but the defense, we really needed to lock in and rebound, and I think that's what we did second half, and that's how we came in with the win.
It was a while back, it seems like now, it feels like at least, but You guys lose on the road to Christ the King, struggled in that game to score the ball. Today was not the case. I mean, you guys were clicking, it seemed like, multiple guys in double-digit scoring. What was the key offensively for you guys today?
It was just move the ball like a team, and we know last time at King, it was a tough game. We came out slow in the third quarter. We had to make sure that we came out right in the third quarter. But we didn't make as many shots at King, but this is our home court, so we knew he was going to make more shots, and today we made more shots overall than the other team.
The trip to Tennessee is behind you guys now. For pretty much going forward, it's going to be league games. You know the schedule, and you don't even need to look at your phone, right? It's Tuesday, Friday, Sunday. It's pretty regimented for you guys going down the stretch of the regular season. How do you feel about your team now going into this home stretch of the regular season?
Just really excited because it's just a lot of games on games, and we really like to play. And we're just going to go out there, compete, have fun the rest of the season, and it's just going to be a really great time.
Josh Pasquarelli, congratulations on the win, and we look forward to seeing you again here as the season goes along.
Thank you.
So Josh Pasquarelli, 20 points here to lead the Terriers this afternoon to the victory. St. Francis Prep improves to 8-3 on the season, 4-1 in league play. St. Ray's is now 4-11 and 3-5 in the Catholic League. That'll do it here from Fresh Meadows for our entire Varsity Media crew. Our executive producer, Ben Turchin, our technical director, Chris Sweeney, our camera guy, Umesh Budu. I am Dylan Butler, thanking you for joining us from Fresh Meadows, Queens, and we look forward to seeing you next time on the Varsity Media Sports Network.